Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cube World. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on each character in this game. Maybe one, maybe multiple videos, one for each character. I don't know. I'm just going to get started right now. Alright, so basics for every class and everything. They're all on the side right there. If you press F1, that'll go away or pop up. Essentially, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Your mouse one is your basic attack. You'll just gotta hold it and it'll attack. And for the knight class, or for the warrior class at least, actually for every class but the mage class, your MP builds up with your attacks. Actually, I think the mage class actually does do that. It just generates back up over time as well. Maybe they changed that. I don't know. We'll go over it when we get there, but for the knight at least, your MP will generate as you hit things, and then your right click is a charge up ability, and say you're up to 100, it'll take a few seconds for the bar to fill up purple to 100, and then you can release it. You can release it before it's fully built up to whatever MP you have, but it will just do less damage. So next, the Cyclone, which was the knight's ability in Alpha. I believe it was the number 2. It's basically just the spin attack. You can hold it for as long as you want. I believe it uses at least a full bar of your stamina, or at least where those notches are. Yeah, it uses exactly one. And then your smash ability is literally just a middle click while you're standing still, and you'll bash down and knock out everyone in the vicinity. I think sometimes it won't knock things out, but it most of the time will. And so now, right now we're using Berserker, which is really focused on attacking things. He doesn't have much of a block. Actually, wait, no, I should go over weapons first. So Knight has, its one-hander are usually like great weapons, like great maces, great axes, great hammers. I think those are all the one-handers. I'm not going to go over every one-hander because there's a lot. But essentially, you just attack, and then you'll charge up your MP, and then release it, but you can only have one weapon. It does more damage, but attacks a lot slower. Or you can equip 2 swords, which is just really focused on attack speed. Or you can have a sword and a shield, which is focused on defense and like good timing. You want to attack at the perfect time. You can also parry if you block. You'll build up block power, and then you can do damage or deal back damage, whatever's dealt to you, I think. I don't mess with the shield, and I think that's something like that. Point is, you charge up your shield, you can defend damage, and then you can attack. Another thing to note is that when you're in your spin attack, you do have block power, so you will not take damage for a couple of hits. I'm going to swap back to my standard gear that I like to use. Anyway, back to the Berserker. Its ultimate is Rock Fist. You basically just punch forward with a Rock Fist and do a lot of damage. Other than that, not too useful. That's pretty much the only change between Guardian and Berserker. The Guardian's ability is Heroic Chant, which essentially it's a taunt, which if you don't know what taunt is, it's more useful in multiplayer. Say someone's going after your mage, because mages are squishy in most games. If you do that, they'll start targeting you instead. And whenever you use your ability, or when you use Heroic Chant, or Shout, or whatever it's called, I think it's Shout, you will start generating HP over the course of, like every second over the course of a couple seconds. I don't know how long it is. And it's just a good way to heal. And that's pretty much the differences between Guardian and Berserker, except for one other thing, which is your passive. Essentially, with Guardian, when you're charging up your right click, you will be able to block damage. When in Berserker, I think you just deal extra, or you just have better attack speed. I'm pretty sure, or haste as it's called now. And there's still one more thing with the Knight before we're done with everything. Also, every class has at least one way to be mobile, like they have a mobile ability, and for the knight, or warrior, I keep calling it knight. For warrior, no matter if you're berserker or guardian, if you hold shift and then, or if you press shift and then, why is it not working right now? If you hold shift and then space, I believe you have to hold down the button for it to work. If you press shift and space, you'll do kind of that jump. And that's about as much mobility as you will get as the knight. I'm going to try to find something really quick. Not those guys. Essentially, when you're attacking stuff with either berserker or knight or guardian, you will... Okay, probably shouldn't go that way. I think that's towards a new biome. When you attack stuff, you will occasionally get a red kind of status effect on the side of your screen, like kind of under your coins. And essentially that will allow you to instantly charge up your like right click. So all you'll have to do is attack. Maybe I can get it from this bush. Nope. Essentially it'll make a noise like ding, and then if you just hold right click, if you just tap your right click, you'll have a full charge up and attack. But also during that time you will also heal with every attack that you do. It's not very much, but it does help a lot during beginning game. And Knight is definitely one of the better classes to start beginning game because you can heal. In fact, I think Mage is also pretty good beginning game because you can heal. Come on, maybe I can get it with these guys. Okay, not yet. Let me try a biter. Right there. That attack, if I right click, you'll see how fast, well, it's not instant, I guess, but it does charge up really fast. And then also you'll see that there's green numbers on my screen whenever I'm attacking, whenever I have that kind of buff up. Right now I'm not healing. I wish I could get it. Wow, I'm going to die if I keep doing that. There's the ground pound. Well, it was shown off there. You saw the buff. I did get healed from it. So yeah, that's essentially all you need to know about Knight. They are supposed to attract attention. They are bulky. They do a lot of, well, not a ton of damage, but they do have a lot of damage to them. I can use Heroic Chant. Right now, yeah, you'll see my health is going up with Heroic Chant. Lasts for a couple seconds. Let's see how much. Okay, so it only lasts for, I think the cooldown is 30 seconds, so I think it lasted for about 10 seconds there. So you get about 10 seconds of healing. It'll heal you a percentage, I think. So you'll always heal about, I think it was about half my health from it over time, which is pretty good. Alright, so next we are going to move on to the Mage, I guess, so I'll be right with you. Alright, well, we're back with the Mage. My Mage right now is in a different biome, and I don't have the weapons necessary to be able to show you, and I don't have a warp in that new biome yet, so I don't really want to exit it, so I just decided to create a beginning character really quick to show it off. So, when you spawn in, you will start with these weapons. These are all the different types of weapons. You can dual wield the bracelets. The Wood Wand is a single-hand weapon. It's a one-hander weapon, but you can only have one. It's much like the staff in a way, but it acts differently. So you'll start off as a Fire Mage, which their buffs are you increase your attack speed with every hit. So every time you hit an enemy, your attack speed goes up by a tiny bit, and so you'll essentially start attacking faster. I don't know if I'll be able to show it. Well, it's hard to tell with the staff, but I assure you that you do get an attack speed bonus with it. I don't really want to kill the sheep, so I'm just going to get out of here. And another thing, every time you see that fire particle around you, it means your right click, which is your hold. If you just tap it, it'll have an instant full charge, and, well, it'll just give you the hold down. This is what it should look like. But when you have those fire particles, it'll activate instantly. Essentially, it'll give you a free cast of it. So your MP goes up naturally. I don't remember if it goes up every time you hit something. I don't think it does. It'll just go up over time. The less you use it, it will it will go up over time, as you can see, and then you can use that to cast your hold, or you can do some of the other things. So the mobility for this class is your shift, and it basically allows you to float. And what you can do with that is if you press space at the perfect time, you can get like a super jump out of it. And I think this class has like the best mobility of any class in the game right now because of it. See, because you just like fly over, you know, if you don't press space, you'll go a lot slower. In fact, there's even kind of an exploit for it. If you jump and then spam shift, you can go even further than just floating straight down. I use it quite a lot when I'm using mage. It's just kind of a helpful thing. You can get up on top of trees to attack things or something. I don't know. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. You have so much vertical mobility. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And then your final ability, which you need full stamina and full mana to use, is your teleport. Actually, I don't think you need full stamina, but you do need full mana, or MP, to teleport. As you can see, well, I dodged there. Yeah, you can teleport. It'll teleport you a little bit in front of you. It won't teleport exactly. Like if I aim all the way at that tree, it's not going to teleport me to that tree. I'm not going to try it because I don't want to waste the MP. And so yeah, and then also you will notice that when I hold shift, my fire swirl, which is my basic attack, which still takes a second to charge up, but not as fast as your right click, my fire swirl goes to fire explosion. Essentially, you just use that instead. It uses, I think, 75 MP, I think is what I saw. Oh no, it only uses 50. It really should say when you're holding shift how much mana it uses. But yeah, that's essentially what happens with the Fire Mage. Your ultimate is the most broken ability in the entire game, and that's the Fire Missiles, which you just launch 3 insanely high damaging balls of fire that just deal massive amounts of damage. So the difference between the Fire and the Water Mages, Fire Mages deal a lot more damage compared to Water Mages, and Water Mages are focused on healing, as you can see from here. If I go here, if I hold shift, you can see healing stream. So yeah, Water Mages are focused on healing more than anything else. So you still have your basic attack, and then you still have your charge up attack. You still have your float. You still have your teleport. The only difference is that you heal. Another big difference is when you hold shift, you have the healing stream, and your mouse 1, your left click is to heal you, and your right click is to aim somewhere else. Like I can aim it at that guy for, you know, it's really helpful in multiplayer more. You can aim it at your friends to heal them, you know. And then your ultimate, actually wait, no, there is a buff that you get when you attack stuff. You get like a kind of like the Fire Mage aura. Whenever you attack something, you get the chance to have, I believe it's still free cast, I don't remember for sure. It's just attack stuff to try to get the aura up. Forget how it happens. Well, I know there is an aura. I don't remember what it does, and I can't get it to pop up for some reason. But as you can see, water, or just mages in general, are really good at beginning game because they can heal. Okay, yeah, I don't know why the thing's going up. I don't remember what the aura does. If it even has an aura. I'm pretty sure it has an aura. It might just be healing, it might be an instant cast or something. But yeah, with each attack as a water mage, your attack speed increases. I don't know why I thought I said fire mage earlier gets that, but water mage gets an attack speed increase. That's what I meant. You can see it kind of there. I'll use Healing Stream really quick just to show that off. And then your ultimate is called Water Bubbles. Essentially, you just kind of float around with those bubbles and they'll eventually pop and deal a lot of damage. It's a good way to deal damage as the Water Mage and still being able to heal. That's your main quirk, is healing. You just practically will never die early game. This class is really good early game because you can just heal off a lot of the damage, especially from enemies of your same kind of type, so like, or rarity, I guess. So if you're facing off against a white enemy with white gear, you probably will just heal off everything because you heal more than they can deal. And so now we're going to go over the different types of weapons. So as you can see, the staff creates this vortex and then a charged vortex that you just kind of aim at the ground. And then if we equip the wand, this is a beam weapon. Essentially, when you just attack, this is my basic attack, it'll take a second to charge up and then it will hit any enemies you're aiming at. If I can aim it properly, the cursor's way too big. As you can see, it's dealing damage. My attack speed is going up, as you can see. And every time you hit something, it'll create a little... the way you heal with this class is you'll hit... Well, not with this class, with the wands, is that it'll create a little circle on the ground. And each one of those, these stack, by the way, so it's really broken. Each circle that you're standing in will heal you for a percentage of your health, or whoever's standing in it. And you can break the game pretty fast if you just aim it a couple times in the same spot. As you can see, it's healing me 3 times because I hit the ground 3 times. And then your right click, which you hold, is essentially just a laser that you can move around really quickly. Whenever you aim it with the array, it creates multiples on the ground that you can stand in at multiple times. It's just kind of broken. The healing for mage is kind of overpowered, in my opinion. It's perfectly fine. Oh, it's not perfectly fine, but it's fine for now, I guess. Especially for new players, I highly recommend mage, at least for a beginning game, because you can just heal off so much of the damage. Another thing with the fire mage, you'll also create fire spots, which I believe just do damage to anything that any enemies that walk in it. So yeah. And then the bracelets, you can equip 2 of them, and you just shoot these little things, little projectiles at enemies. It's kind of a combo. Actually, I think it's just a faster beam. Actually, a less powerful beam. You know, you still have the same thing. You just shoot more powerful shots. Still have healing stream. You should still have all the same abilities, except your basic and charge up should be different names. I believe, yeah, the charge up with the water bolt, or water ball, has a bigger area of effect than normal water bolts. But yeah, that's essentially the mage in a nutshell. Your great beginning game, you're really squishy, and I think it's a bug right now, but since mages do the most amount of damage, more than any other class in the entire game, which is why they're so squishy, meaning you'll get hit, or you'll die pretty quickly with them. Since you do the most damage, with the way the enemies target in this game, it appears to be that whoever does the most damage gets targeted, meaning mages get targeted more than they should be. I feel like the coding should be, or I feel like it should be changed to be just like, I don't know. It shouldn't be whoever's doing the most damage, because mages will always get targeted, which is a bad thing to happen. You do not want your mage being targeted, especially your healer. I think fire mages should be targeted, but not so much water mages, because they're just healing. They do less damage in general. And yeah, that's pretty much the mage class. I think next I'll show off archer, so I will be right back again. Alright, and now we are back with the ranger, the archer, ranger, you know, range damage person. They're just called ranger. So the weapon, actually, let's just start with the basic stuff on the right. So you have your basic attack, You know, you just shoot arrows, at least with this weapon. You get 3 different types of weapons. You get crossbows, boomerangs, and bows. I'm just going to show everything off with the bow and then show you all the different weapons later. And so your basic attack, you'll just shoot arrows, build up MP with hits, and then your salvo you just basically charge up and then you shoot, releasing. Sometimes you'll get an aura. It'll be purple, I think, and that will allow you to do a, not an instant charge up, but a really fast charge up, and then release it, kind of like Warrior. And so the next thing is Sneak, at least with the Sniper. Right now we're just going over the Sniper subclass. And so when you hold shift, you basically will go into stealth. As long as you're holding it, your stealth will go up. If you're not moving, your stealth will go up faster. If you're in darkness, your stealth will go up even more. If I'm in darkness over here, it charges up about twice as fast. Your MP will go up when your stealth is all the way up, or charging up even, and then you can use that to attack. You can charge up your right click. Charging up your right click also turns you invisible while you're in Sniper. And then you can release that, kind of the same deal. And then your middle mouse button is a retreat, which wherever you're facing, you'll backflip, like pretty far actually. It's really good for kind of it's a pretty good mobility for this class, in my opinion. It's not the only way of being mobile. This class, both subclasses get their own different mobility. Mages will always have their float as their shift, and so they have constant mobility. Knights only have mobility when they're in Guardian. Actually, no, they get both mobility from either or. Anyway, and then your ultimate essentially creates a clone of you that will attack the same target at the exact same rate as you. He'll stay around for, I don't know, 20 seconds and then disappear. It's, in my opinion, not the best way I can interact with them. In my opinion, it's not the best ability. Sure, you do about double the damage, but overall, you're just going to be targeted, so it's not really too worth it. So now we're going to switch subclasses to Scout, which in my opinion is the better of the two. So you still have your basic attack, charge up, and so on and so forth. Same aura around you. Whenever sometimes you hit things, you'll get that aura that allows you to charge up instantly or almost instantly. Now the 3 things that are changed with this: if you hold shift, you will sprint, and it just uses constant stamina, kind of like the twirl or twist or whatever it was called from the Knight. And you can even jump with this, you know, you kind of flip with it. However, I think it's just faster to just hold shift. You'll just kind of sprint. That's probably the best mobility you'll have with this subclass. I really like this subclass, so I have to deal with it. And the reason why I like this subclass is because you have the kick. That will essentially knock back enemies, and in like an area around you, I think it's an area, maybe it's a not a radius, a degree in front of you, like 270 or something, like from here to here. And essentially, it'll knock enemies back and then knock them out as well, so you can get a few extra shots in, and it will use 50 stamina. And then your ultimate is the Quicksand Trap, and essentially, this is why the Ranger is actually very viable beginning game. The Ranger doesn't have any healing or ways of healing, but this Sand Trap will pretty much stop anything you're attacking in their tracks. You can just wail on them, charge up, attack, and then as soon as the Quicksand Trap is ended, you can kick them down as long as they haven't been knocked out fairly recently. And that's essentially why the Scout, in my opinion, is a lot better. The Quicksand Trap just makes it so much easier to kill things beginning game. And so now I guess we'll go over the weapons. So this is the bow. I think it just does a lot of damage, but is relatively slow. It does a lot of damage per hit. And yeah, I believe the crossbow is a little faster. I believe you increase your attack speed. Of course, that might be with everything. Your charge shot will just shoot a charge shot instead of multiple charge shots. I think maybe it'll shoot multiple. I don't really mess with the crossbow. The crossbow and the bow are pretty similar. And the boomerang, which is my favorite, you will throw your boomerang. It'll do a lot of damage and it will do a lot of DPS, which is really good for rangers. Because the faster you can kill stuff, the better. But this thing has a lot of range. You can just keep holding down the button. You'll kind of throw it. It'll kind of go wherever you look. If I look up here and then move it, it'll kind of follow. And then when you hit stuff, you'll generate MP, and you can charge it up, and it'll kind of hold, doing more damage. And yeah, that's essentially the difference between them. In my opinion, the boomerang is the better of the weapons because it hits it can hit multiple enemies multiple times per like attack wave, like that, and that one. It can hit multiple enemies and do multiple amounts of damage with just one attack. Meanwhile, the archer or the crossbow and bow will only do one damage, a relatively high amount of damage, well more than the boomerang does, but it won't do as much DPS, which I prefer DPS on rangers. Other than that, I think that's it for the archer. The archer doesn't really have much to talk about. It's good range. I'm not going to say I suggest it for a beginning game, but it is definitely more than viable. You don't heal, so you have to be careful of that. But you do have the quicksand trap, which will prevent you from taking a lot of damage, so I guess it's viable enough. And then next, we're going to be talking about, in my opinion, well, it's my favorite class, but that's only because I really liked it in Alpha. And that is the Rogue, so I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are with the Rogue class, the fast attacking, fast or high damaging kind of class. Yeah. This class isn't built to tank stuff. I mean, mages and rogues are, well, actually mages and archers are probably the weakest of all the classes. Rogues aren't really meant to take damage. Pretty much the knight is the tank of all of the classes. And I probably should switch over to assassin really quick instead of ninja. So you'll start off with the assassin. Actually, no, I'm going to go over the stuff, the side stuff. So your basic attack, essentially you'll just attack, and then once your MP charges up, you just right click, and then you'll do, other attacks. And then with the assassin, if you hold shift, you'll kind of do the stealth thing like the sniper, and you can just kind of build that up. And then this is one good thing about having the stealth thing constantly on your character, is the intercept. It's like the number 1 from Alpha, where you would dash forward. So if I do that, it would dash forward using all your MP, and you can just kind of charge it up. It's a good way to go into battle, because you can just, just instantly charge up and start attacking stuff. Usually that attack will knock things out if you have it fully charged. You might not want to do that with bosses, but it'll knock things out pretty quickly. And then you also have your right click is perforate, which is essentially just when you charge up your MP, you right click and you'll do extra damage. It'll hit a couple times and then probably knock things out. And then your middle mouse button is a poison vial. It'll just throw a little thing, and then when enemies step through that, they will take poison damage. I think no matter what subclass you choose, you will, anytime you attack something with your charge up ability, it'll poison them. I think maybe not with the longsword. I know with the short-handed weapons you do. And then your ultimate is camouflage, which is essentially an instant stealth. You can pretty much just go wherever. It's an instant charge up. You'll generate MP super crazy fast, and then as soon as you you can hold shift, you can pretty much just do infinite of these. It's pretty good what's it called, mobility, I guess. I don't really like doing that stuff. I like the ninja better subclass, and in fact we're going to show that right now. And so now we've switched to ninja, which I prefer. Your shift turns into a sprint, like the scout. You can run around, and it'll change your mouse 1 and 2. So your mouse 1 is usually this, and your charge up is usually the perforate. But when you are shifted, you can throw shurikens. It'll use 25% of your mana. I have a lot of regen, so I can pretty much just spam this. And then you still have the intercept. However, since you have no way of generating MP naturally, like, you could only generate MP as the ninja just from hitting things. There's no real good way to get into a battle, in my opinion. You pretty much just sprint into battle and then attack. And then you actually don't have a standing middle click ability. I don't know why. I feel like there definitely should be. And yeah, that's essentially it. And then your ultimate, when you activate it for, I think, 30 seconds, you get to throw shurikens. Yeah, you'll just throw a lot of shurikens. Did I actually hit something right there? These shurikens are really good. They deal a lot of damage beginning game, and they do not be afraid to use this ability beginning game, because it is pretty good. Actually, I think the oh, hit snap beetles. Well, here's those shurikens just in a nutshell. They do about the same damage, so you can either hold shift or just use your ultimate. Your ultimate will stay charged for about 20 seconds or so. You can generate MP through your shurikens, then perforate in, I guess. That's a good way to generate MP. You have a lot more ranged attacks than Assassin. And occasionally when you attack stuff, you'll get purple, I think, like, actually purple, not pink, kind of particles around you. And that will allow you to do critical hits, which are so broken beyond belief. Like, if you generate all your MP and then right-click to perforate when you have your purple particles up, you can do upwards of like 200 crit damage a hit. It'll only do it once unless you use the perforate, which will attack, I think, 3 to 4 times when you right click on an enemy. And the way you gain this crit damage is if something's attacking you and you dodge. Dodging is a really important part of Rogue, because that's how you, if you dodge at the perfect time and dodge an attack, or just kind of spam it and wait till you get it, you will then get the purple particles, and then that's when you know to charge up your MP to maximum, and then perforate, and then you will do mass amount of damage. And then finally, I guess I'm going to show off all the weapons. Longsword, you just attack and then perforate. And then I think the only other weapon type it gets is a two-handed. You can use daggers or fists, any combo of the two. And essentially, you get an attack, and then your ambush. You still get the intercept and shuriken when you hold shift. The ambush, I don't remember what it does. I think you just kind of dash forward a tiny bit, maybe. I can't actually remember for sure what that does. I don't ever use two double-handed weapons. Oh, never mind. It just kind of slashes them forward and does a lot of damage. And I think that might do poison damage. I think that's the thing that does poison damage. And yeah, that is essentially it for the assassin. I like longswords because they do a lot of damage. However, I think you do more damage per second when you use the two-handers, two-handers. But yeah, rogues are fast. They like to dodge and avoid damage. They have no way of healing. They have two ways. They have the same two ways of movement, basically, as the archer. And yeah, this is probably the hardest of the classes, in my opinion, even though it's really not that... It's not that hard. Nothing is hard to learn in this game. I'd say the easiest class... Well, two easiest classes are Water Mage and Guardian Warrior for beginners. But yeah, I guess that will conclude it. We've gone over every class, their weapon, their subclasses, and all their abilities. Also, I guess there's one thing I should mention. If you are moving and you hold your middle click, you will do a dodge. Essentially just a way to avoid damage. If you time it properly, every enemy will have like a tempo to them, to their attacks, and you can just learn that and then dodge at the right times. If you have enough regen, you can just pretty much spam it. Probably hear it clicking. But essentially, that's just what it does. Alright, I'm going to end this video before I start going into combat stuff that I don't really want to go to. So yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope I helped you out, and I will see you all later. Bye.